Good morning, my friend. Today is 11:30 right now in the morning, and I'm recording today for continue practicing my English skills. And in the second video, I just correct my first video that there were so many mistakes that I made when I spoke English. But in the second videos, also I made mistakes, and there were so many mistakes that I made also in the second video. So I will always make mistakes, okay? Because I'm still in progressing how to speak English better, and I believe that this is part of the progression. So I will always make mistakes, and I will always correct the mistakes, and then I believe that I will improve my English speaking skills. So some of mistakes that I made in the second video I tried to correct my first video, and then also I talk about why should everyone has YouTube channel. That's so I have write some of mistakes that I made in the second video. So in the second video, I said continue my English speaking. That is not correct. The correct one is continue practicing my English speaking skills, because continue need activity, and we use verb ing to explain no to use the verb after continue. Maybe it's part of gerund, so I should say continue practicing my English speaking skills. That is the mistake number one. And then mistake number two, I said there is some misgrammar. uh, that is incorrect. The correct one is there were some grammar mistakes. There were some grammar mistakes. So I should use that sentence. There were some grammar mistakes. And the third, I said I wrote about my mistakes that I made. Uh, the correct one is I wrote down the mistakes I made. I wrote down the mistakes I made. Not I wrote about my mistakes, but I wrote down the mistakes I made. Uh, the first one, not completely incorrect, but the second one, I wrote down the mistakes I made. It's more natural way how native speaker usually say in English. And then the fourth, I don't know how to say, but I'm speaking right now. More natural and more native. I am not always sure how to say things. I'm not always sure how to say things, but I'm trying to speak anyway. So that's more natural, and yeah, I feel it's more like a native speaker say, or they talk about. I'm not always sure about not about I'm not always sure how to say things, but I'm trying to speak anyway. And then the mistake, the next mistake that I made, I said I can improve or correct what I correct something that I false. That is really messy. I should say I can improve and correct what I said incorrectly. That is more natural way to say. I can improve and correct what I said incorrectly. I can improve and correct what I said incorrectly. That is the better way. And then the next mistakes I said in the better English way. I should say in a better and more natural way. That is more natural, like a native speaker always say. Okay, and then uh, The second part of the second part in the second video, I talk about why should everyone has YouTube channel, and also there were so many mistakes that I made. So I will correct my own mistakes, and I wrote down the mistakes that I have made. I said why people should have a channel. Okay. I should say why people should have a YouTube channel. And the next mistake I said in the second video again, I said one of the ways how to progress my English speaking. Uh, ways how to, ways not use how to, but ways to, ways straight with to. So I should say one of the ways to improve my English speaking, not one of the ways how to progress, but one of the ways to improve my English speaking. And then I said have to have YouTube channel, have a YouTube channel, just like that. The next mistake I said post their own talent in the YouTube. Uh, it is very important not post talent but share talent. It's more natural on YouTube, not in YouTube. On YouTube. So I always make mistakes when I say post in YouTube, not in YouTube but on YouTube. And I always use post, but actually it is better to use share. So I should say share their talent on YouTube, not post their talent in YouTube, but share their talent on YouTube. I should use on. The next mistake, people. The next mistake, people can look for me. People can look for, or people can see. I use repetition then, and that is not important. I should say people can see your talent. That's enough. People can see your talent. That's enough. And I said the next mistake. I said look for the how to learn language. How to look for how to learn English. Look for how to learn language. I also said want to looking for. Uh, it's a grammar mistakes. I should said want to look for. I also said I have so many few words in English. I should said I don't have enough vocabulary in English. I don't have enough vocabulary. Okay, that is very natural way to say I don't have enough vocabulary in English. If I want to say something and then I'm just like, what should I say? We can say I don't have enough vocabulary in English. And then I said also, I want you to also to improve, not improve, correct. Uh, I said that before in my second video. I should said, I would like to help, I would like you to help correct my English. Okay. My English, my English to become more fluently. I said my English to become fluently, but it's a natural way to say it is my English to become more fluently. Okay. I think that's enough. The correction of my second video that I shared in YouTube, on YouTube. Sorry, on YouTube. Why should everyone has YouTube channel? You can watch my video, my second video on YouTube about that, and you can also come to this video to see what mistake that I made in the second video, because this is the correction of my second video. Okay, I think that's enough for today's video. Yeah, I think that's enough. And I want to say something before I you know close my video. I believe this is the progress how to learn language, because if you want to learn language, we have to practice it right away, because the goal of language is how we inform, right, or send message to other people. So if we do not try to speak, we will not able to speak what our target language. So if you want to learn English, you have to say it out loud. That is the one important one way to improve English, and one way to learn English better. Because if we just only listen and we don't practice our speaking skills, we will not able to speak English fluently. Because the only way to speak is speaking. Okay, I think enough for today's video, because it's already long. It's already 10 11:25. So I will finish my video. Thank you for your attention, and I want you also help me to correct my grammar and write down on the comment. Bye.